This is Proxy Countdown. Welcome to the big show for the week of September 22nd, 2025, alongside my tag team partner, Matt Mascardi. I'm Damian Rawlis. On today's countdown, Oracle's four-headed monster, Albertsons finds a lord, Darden CEO getting some special failure cash, U.S. large cap annual meetings voted best places to take a nap in 2025. And on the big vote, Matt channels his inner FanDuel, Vegas, ESPN bets, DraftKings.
Betting time.
All right, let's get to the stories. We're in a bi-weekly format until Proxy season really gets going, so I don't have a lot of stories to cover, but I'm going to highlight the most notable from the last 2 weeks. The ongoing trend of boards losing female directors and going under the threshold of 3 women on the board continues. At Applied Materials, Yvonne McGill resigned, and at Paycom Software, Felicia Williams resigned. So both of those boards are down to only 2 women on the board. And at S&T Bancorp, the chair, Christine Toretti, resigned. They're down to 1 female board member. At Albertsons chair, James Donald has stepped down. James was COO from March 2018 to September 2018. He was CEO from September 2018 to April 2019. And then he was chair for less than a year since October 2024, and he's leaving. Despite all that, first of all, I don't really get he was like had all these jobs for less than a year. He was still called independent. It's kind of a strange tenure there for James Donald.
I don't understand how promotions work there.
I don't really understand either.
You're CEO for like 7 months, and then they're like, let's make you CEO. And then you're that for like 4 months, and they're like, let's make you chair.
I don't get it. He's being replaced by their longest tenured director, Kim Fenebresk. He has served on the board for a decade. And
Kim's a he. I was just about to get excited for a second.
Yeah, Kim's a he. And Intercontinental Exchange, I messed up the copy at the beginning of the show. Intercontinental Exchange has found its lord. This is the best name of the week. Intercontinental Exchange has appointed the Right Honorable the Lord Hill of Orford CBE. I don't know what any of that means. In the filing, it says Lord Hill will participate in ICE's non-employee director compensation program. Don't you feel like this is a little bit below Lord Hill to participate in that program? Shouldn't he have some other kind of golden...
What's his cash? What's his?
He's getting $100,000 cash a year and $235,000 annual equity grant. But I think he should get like a crown and a scepter. I don't know. This seems below
If
him.
he's not put on any of their committees, then this is great for him. He's 4 meetings a year and $350,000.
Let's talk about, speaking of money, let's talk about the big money of the week. At Darden CEO Ricardo Cardenas is getting a CEO Special PSU Award. That's what they called it. It is, it's worth $17 million. He gets $34 million if Darden's relative TCR, total shareholder return, is at the 75th percentile compared to its peers. He gets $17 million if it's right in the middle at the 50th percentile. And even if the company fails, even if it hits a 25th percentile, he gets $8.5 million. So that's pay for failure. The other great part of this is that this special award, now they're the ones who call it a special award, was announced on the same day as the company's annual meeting. So
so not in the proxy.
They could have put it in the proxy. I opened the proxy. It was not included, but they just kind of slipped it on the same. I'm sorry, but this should be a reason to vote everybody out, especially the comp committee. But that's
you
terrible.
can't vote them out now because
that's
it happened
terrible.
after the meeting.
Yeah. Srivanesan Goaplan is the new CEO at T-Mobile US. His Golden Hello package is worth $13 million. The former CEO, Mike Sievert, is staying on the board as an executive vice chair. This is like a made up title like Safra Catz is getting at Oracle.
Yeah.
His base salary is going to be $7 million to be the executive vice chair. $7 million. I don't know how that works. CEO designate AJ Gopal is getting a $28 million golden hello to join Procore Technologies. He will join the board as a Class 1 director and won't be up for a vote until 2028. How about that? Completely insulated from investors for 3 years, despite getting $28 million.
It's a good gig when you can get it.
And finally, the four-headed monster at Oracle. Oracle has named 2 new CEOs to replace former CEO Safra Catz. Safra's not actually going anywhere. She's staying on as an executive on the board as an executive vice chair. The new co-CEOs are, they're also going to be directors. That's Clayton Magurick. He's only 39 years old. He's getting a golden hello stock option grant worth $250 million. Same with the other co-CEO, director Mike Cecilia, except his is only worth $100 million. So they're getting a pile of options, although it's kind of weird that they're not worth the same amount, right? Those golden hello packages, that's a little bizarre.
What I actually like is that
some favoritism.
How many weeks are we going to do the Proxy Countdown, which 2 executive vice chairs are named?
2 executive vice chairs.
2,
yeah.
Because the Srivasan Gopalan, the new CEO of T-Mobile, Mike Sievert stays on the board as executive vice chair. The reason why both of those companies have executive vice chairs is also on the board are the majority stockholders. Larry Ellison at Oracle is on the board, so he's already executive chair. And on the T-Mobile board is Timotheus Hotgis, who is the CEO of Deutsche Telekom, which is T-Mobile's majority shareholder. So there are many just executive chair. Now we're just doing. Do we get to executive vice chair at some point? Are we going to run out of how many co-executive vice chair?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It gets a little confusing.
Let's move over to our vote results table. I really have nothing to say, unfortunately. There were actually 7 large cap votes, including Nike. But out of those 7 companies, there were only 2 shareholder proposals, each getting 13% approval. So again, there's a mythology going around that shareholder proposals are taking over corporate America. There were 2 proposals getting no votes at 7 companies.
Those 2, yeah.
And how about this fake democracy, the fake democracy of dual class companies controlled by dictators? At Nike, they had 9 Class A directors up for a vote. The vote for all of them was 288 million votes yes, 0 votes no.
Zero.
What a sham. I mean, what a stupid. I can't believe this is allowed.
That ruins one of my bets coming up.
For the common stock vote, John Rogers Jr. actually got 35% votes no. So if you're lucky enough to be anointed into this special protected class of Class A directors at Nike, you're untouchable. You're completely untouchable.
That's a 0. That's a 0. I like that.
And before I hand it over to you, Matt, there's some big meetings coming up next week. We have companies like FedEx, General Mills, Cal-Maine Foods, some large cap companies. But again, I counted 6 major U.S. companies coming up for a vote, all with a market cap of well above $1 billion. Only 3 total shareholder proposals. And of those 3, 2 of them are about trying to get an independent chair. So it's not exactly like rocking the company here, right? I mean, this is old school stuff.
That sounds like dangerous activism.
And out of those 6 companies, at 2 of the companies, this is the shambles that is shareholder democracy in the U.S. And this is, I find this to be foreshadowing of something very dangerous, which is that shareholders eventually won't have a say over anything. But at Cal-Maine Foods and at National Beverage Corp, Cal-Maine voters can only vote on 3 directors because of a classified board structure. National Bev shareholders can only vote on 2 directors because of a classified board structure. And neither shareholder class can vote on say on pay because they've both adopted this every 3-year vote on pay plan. So
classified
basically,
pay.
You're nullifying the voice. You're systematically silencing the voice of shareholders. It's already happening, people. You're just not noticing. You're not complaining about the right things. You're just not noticing.
Yeah, I like classified pay. That's it.
That's all I got. Easy week for me. I'm going to hand it over to you, Matt. I don't know what the hell you're doing this week, but take it over.
All right, let's do it. It's the 2025-2026 Proxy season countdown.
All right.
I rounded up the betting lines on this year's Proxy season. Now, if you're wondering where I got the betting lines from, I got them from our shows in my head because there aren't real betting lines, but there should be, because I'm going to run through what I think are some foreshadows for major trends for the year. And I want to present them to Damien and see which bet you might take. Okay.
I'm confused, but I'm going to go with the premise.
We'll do this one as a first, as an opening salvo, and you can get the premise from this. Okay. Here's your first option. Jay Hoag, Netflix director, as a canary in the investors really don't care about their director's coal mine. What are Jay Hoag's votes this year?
Okay. Help me out. What were Jay votes last year?
All right. So first of all, Jay Hoag got voted off the board last year.
True. Yeah,
voted off the board.
He should
more
be
than
off the board.
50% votes against. Here is what Netflix said.
But just to be clear here, you're kind of covering the headline. He's still on the board.
Correct. Because here's what Netflix said in response.
Go ahead.
Hoag presented his resignation to the board as a result of getting voted out. The board put out an 8K with a statement in it that said, "We believe that Mr. Hoag did not receive a majority of votes cast in his election to the board because he attended less than 75% of the meetings of his total board and committee meetings in 2024.
Does that not count as a reason to vote someone off the board?
The board determined that his absences in 2024 did not indicate a lack of commitment to his duties.
But who cares? The shareholders still said no.
His prior attendance rate was 97% in the 5 years prior to 2024.
Good for him. Yeah. This is his first murder. He hadn't murdered anyone the first 50 years of his life, so we can't convict the man on murder charges.
But Mr. Hoag remained engaged with the company by attending meetings with senior management and engaging in pre-board meeting memos.
Does that mean that he went to Reed Hastings' barbecue?
And as a result, they rejected his resignation.
So what they're saying is that we have a list of things that you can and cannot vote our directors off for? Like, it's not up to you? Is that what they're saying?
The board, consistent with the Nominating and Governance Committee's recommendation, determined that Mr. Hoag's continued service as a member of the board is in the best interests of the companies and its stockholders who voted him out.
And the people who, so even for the people who said no, it's still in your best interest.
It's in your best interest.
Okay.
So this is the context. This year,
this is kind of like your girlfriend dumps you in college and you're like, actually, if you stay with me, it's still in your best interest to date me. So it's a no.
I actually
still
reject
dating.
your resignation from our relationship. Here is the bet.
Yes.
The bet was, what are Jay Hoag's votes in favor of Jay Hoag this year? The line is 89%.
89%
Do you bet
yes?
that he gets more than 89%
Oh my
for
God, this
or
is
less?
Easy. I am putting so much money on less than 89. I think Cheryl's going to be pissed.
The under is currently the underdog. There's a 47.6% chance, according to Free Float's assessment, that he gets less than 89% of the vote. That's the underdog.
I hope you're listening, BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, because you should be angry about this. Even you should stand up for this one. You should vote him off because they're not playing the game right.
So one of the things that you'll notice is this is called a zombie director. It's a director who's voted off and stays on the board. This is a very high-profile zombie director. But in fact, zombie directors do not routinely get voted off the following year. They often get kept on the board the following year.
I'm
The
still
data
taking
suggests
Still taking the
it
under.
doesn't matter if you're a zombie. You tend to get reelected if you reject shareholder votes.
Still going
That
under.
is the shareholder democracy in which we say, nah, I'm going to stay here. And then the next year, people are like, well, he stayed, so I guess we'll keep him. And here is the bet that Netflix is making, which is important to point out. Netflix is making a bet that Jay Hoag will attend more than 90% of the meetings this year, will not get flagged for an attendance failure, and no one will remember. That is,
except for
the
us.
bet.
Yeah, and our
Except for
four
us.
listeners.
So
Yeah.
prepare yourself, Jay Hoag. So you went with the under.
To me, it seems like an easy bet.
I think you're wrong. I think
All right.
the money's on the over.
I'm intrigued.
I think the money's on the over. All right, here's your next bet. Will a director be voted out in an uncontested election this year for a reason that isn't attendance at a big U.S. company?
Are we talking about mostly like large and mid-cap companies, or are we even talking about
We're talking
small
about
caps?
large companies. We're not talking about
Okay,
small
okay.
companies. We're talking about U.S. large cap companies.
Do you have any data to tell me how often this happens? Or
Here's the data. The average percentage of directors getting less than 50% of the vote in 2024 was 0.2%.
okay, so it happened.
When it happens has been due to activism or attendance.
Oh,
Will it happen for some other reason in
Interesting.
2025, 26? Do we think some other reason, whether it's the Trump administration calls them woke, or there's a bankruptcy and that person is like the culprit for the bankruptcy? I'll give you the line on this.
yeah. Go ahead.
The no vote is obviously a heavy favorite. It is a minus 20,000, which means the implied odds, 99.5% chance that it doesn't happen.
Really? Again,
A 0.2% chance of yes plus 50,000. So $100 bet on the no wins less than a cent.
really?
And a $100 bet on the yes wins $50,000.
Oh, well, I mean, okay. Well, first of all, I don't know much about betting. I'm not a bettor, but don't you have to take that bet anyway? Because why not? I mean, why not just? It's such a long shot.
You could lose $100,000. Basically, say you're gonna lose $100,000 if you vote yes.
Oh, I thought it was a vote. I thought you said if I bet $100, I get $50,000.
If you bet $100 and a person is voted out, you get $50,000.
So I should take the bet anyway. But I would have. But okay. But I would take the bet anyway because those are great odds. But intellectually, I'm going to take the vote. I'm going to take that bet, being a yes, because I think that maybe we'll see some like political shenanigans this year. Maybe I'm thinking of Disney as an example. You know that Nelson Peltz is going to jump back into the Disney war and start another proxy contest. Or we've had a very activist investor. You didn't say that it couldn't be a company targeted by an activist investor, right?
That
could
said
happen.
Uncontested election. An activist is a contested election.
Shoot,
Peltz jumps in.
I'm still saying yes. I think we're going to have some weird. Like I'm actually thinking Disney. I think someone's going to get bit at Disney. Probably a woman. A woman's going to take the fall for this whole Jimmy Kimmel mess at Disney.
Okay, well let's jump to that bet. I have another bet because I can jump around here. Disney's Mel Lagomasino vote total
that's
for
who I was thinking.
25-26.
Yeah.
Lagomasino, just for people who are listening, Lagomasino was the target of Nelson Peltz's vote out campaign, and ISS actually sided with Peltz at the time. We tracked the voting record on Lagomasino. 2023, she got a 92% yes. 2024, she got a 63% yes. That was the year Peltz targeted her. In 2025, she got a 98% yes. So after Peltz lost, even though investors largely thought she was not qualified to do the job as director because Peltz said so, 98% of them said she was qualified when Peltz didn't say so because he wasn't there. 2026 vote for Mel Lagomasino, the line is 92%. Are you over or under? The money, heavy money on the over, that she will get more than 92% of the vote. What's your bet?
This one, again, another easy under for me. I'm just taking all the underdogs.
You're taking underdogs.
Okay. correct. Do you know that? I don't know if you know this information. I know for a fact that Maria Mel, as you call her, is now the longest tenured director at Disney.
10 years. At 10 years.
So
yeah.
she automatically becomes a target, and she's a woman. So she's the perfect target, and
a woman of color.
And is she the chair of the nomination committee? I don't remember this information. Do you know if she's the chair of a committee?
I believe she is on the nomination committee.
Is she the chair of any committee?
At one point.
Okay, doesn't matter. She's the perfect target for. I think there's going to be a fun vote. Hopefully, an uncontested vote at Disney. I think she's going to take the fall.
Interesting. So following up, basically you can parlay. A parlay is when you combine two votes. You can parlay, will a director be voted out of an uncontested election plus 50,000 yes with Disney's Mel Lagomasino vote total, which basically means you're saying Mel Lagomasino is going to be voted out in the 2026.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's do it. Let's roll.
And you're getting for $100 on that, you are getting implied, like, first of all, it's like $100,000 win. Like, it's a lot of money. You win.
Maybe even the liberals will notice, and they'll vote out Derek Rice because he's also on the Target board, which got rid of their DEI program. So maybe
that would have been my choice.
And he's a black man, so he's another great target for the anti-DEI crowd. So
that would have been my choice. Derek Rice is Rice. There are a few like multi-DEI flippers, but Derek Rice in particular is a DEI flipper over at Target, but also has the Disney problem. So, and he's on 4 different boards this year.
But as we know, the anti-DEI, the MAGA crowd, they target women first. So I think even though he's a black man, I'm going to go with Mel. So
all right, well, let me follow up
go ahead.
With another vote here.
Man, if FanDuel or DraftKings had these kind of bets, I actually would bet on stuff like this.
Highest, lowest votes for a director in the U.S. You track on a regular basis the vote results in our vote results table segment, right?
I try.
You know what some of the vote results look like.
I do.
Right now, the highest vote line is 99.94%.
This is at a common stock company. There's no dual class.
Common stock company, no dual class. Minus 115 is the
vote.
over, meaning the under is the underdog. Getting higher than 99.94% is the favorite.
Yeah, I got to go with the favorite here. I think it'll be above that number. I feel like that number is low. I feel like there'll definitely be. I feel like I've seen 99.99 before, but I'm going to go on the over on that one.
I want to emphasize something to anybody who's listening to this show. Damien said 99.94% in favor is low.
Yeah,
is low.
Yes.
At a non-contested U.S. director election.
Yes, which basically means that the director is perfect. The lowest. Okay.
Lowest, the line right now is 38%.
Why is it 38%?
Because
did someone get that? Yeah.
The lowest tends to be well above 0%. But I think the lowest last year was like 29%.
Do you know who that was or what company?
I can't remember.
Or the reason?
I don't have it.
I'm going to be pessimistic here and
the over is the underdog, actually.
Oh, really?
The under is the favorite.
Oh, interesting. Then I'm going over on this one as well.
Over. Oh, so it's going to be tight. That 38, that only gives you 12% window because they have to get voted out, less than 50%. Oh, well, no, I guess they don't have to get voted out. It's just the lowest. So, so you're on both overs. Interesting. Over.
I think as we've seen, the pattern is for shareholders to pay less attention every year. So
here's your takeaway. These votes are ridiculous. When 99.94% is not high enough for the highest vote getting, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Can you imagine
here's another bet.
Can you imagine that 99.94% of all constituents think that you're doing great? I mean, can you imagine that? I want to live in that world.
What a democracy. Yeah. What a democracy.
I don't even think that, I don't even think that that God's approval rating is that high. I really don't. There are some skeptics out there.
But he's not a director at a publicly traded board.
He sort of is, though. Director of the universe. Yeah, go ahead.
You don't elect that though.
Do you elect Larry Ellison or Mark Zuckerberg?
This is getting metaphysical.
It is.
All right. Here's the next bet on the sheet. How many directors will be added inside 30 days after the AGM this year?
Interesting. Do you have this data?
Yeah, I do. So at 54 U.S. companies, 56 directors were added inside of 30 days during the 2025
The entire
AGM season.
year.
The entire year.
Now, okay, again, tell me,
2025.
what is your universe of companies?
U.S. companies.
All U.S.
Just
companies.
U.S. All U.S. companies. Yeah.
Large, mid,
cap.
small, micro cap.
Large,
Okay.
mid, small. That's 56 times that the shareholder democracy was subverted effectively to
I would think the
create
number would be higher
incumbents
than
without
that.
an election.
Yeah.
Okay. The majority of times that this is done, it is done through board expansion or on a classified board. That's usually the two situations. They expand the board like the day after the AGM and they add a director, or it's a classified board and they just add a director within 30 days and they put them in a class where they're not up for election the next year. Because the classified directors, it has happened where you're added within 30 days after the AGM ends, and you have as many as 3 years before your first election. So you're almost a 3-year incumbent by then. So here's the line. So that last year, or this year, was 54 U.S. companies, 56 directors. The guess is how many directors added inside 30 days? 56 in 2025. The line is 61 for the 2026 season.
Do we have data from any years prior to 2025? We only have 2025 data.
No, we have data from them, and it was less in prior years.
So it's slowly going up? Is it slowly going up?
It ranged from about 30 to 50, yeah.
I mean, I do see this as an increasing trend. Because I think companies are going to start to figure out that they'll
61.
anything they can get away with, they'll get away with. I'm really eagerly taking the over on this one.
Okay, the over is the favorite. It's a very slight favorite. 61's
I'm still going.
a lot.
Still going over.
You're taking the over.
Yeah,
Takes the over.
Because I think that that we've unleashed a beast here. I think that by reporting on this, other companies probably have heard our reporting.
It's our fault.
And they're thinking, oh, wait, okay, yeah, we could do this too. Let's slip some directors in right after the meeting. Let's troll these guys.
All right, here's your next bet. The average percentage of women on boards.
Oh, I like this one. All right, what do we got? What's the data?
Here's the data. The most recent data shows a 22% drop in new diverse candidates on boards.
Most recent? Okay. Okay.
This
includes women and people of color?
Women and people of color.
A 22% drop in new diverse candidates. This is in the last year?
Meaning of all the board additions in the U.S. in the last year, compared to prior years, 22% less were diverse candidates.
Which suggests either two horrible things, which is that A, they don't care anymore, so no one's looking, no one's paying attention. It's actually it's bad to appoint DEI candidates, as they call them, or their networking notebooks they've gotten the last page. They don't know any other women. They don't know any of the people of color.
I think it's probably the second one.
Okay,
yeah, the latter.
Both are bad. Yeah.
And you've been pulling down to 2. You pulled it in this show. Companies that you're calling down to 2. And it's our refrain for boards basically looking to diversify away from women. The current number of women on large cap U.S. boards is 30%. It is exactly 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That used to be the mythical goal, right? The 30% number. Yeah.
That was the mythical goal. 30% women on boards. How far does the average move in this proxy season? The line actually
getting confused here. Yeah.
So what's our average percent going to be at the end of this proxy season? The line right now is it drops to 28% women on boards.
That means a lot of women will have left the boardroom, right?
That means you are combining resignations and board refreshment together, and you're saying the board turnover, all the women that leave get replaced by men, almost the majority of them, and there are fewer female candidates put up as part of a refreshment. The under is the heavy favorite. Under 28%.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Is the heavy favorite.
Do we know the percentage of women on the boards last year, the year before? Do you have that data in front of you?
That data has been a steady, slow creep. It was about 28.9% in the prior. Yes, up to this year.
So I don't know if you can do the math in your head, but what's the total amount of women that would have to leave for it to drop 2 percentage points? Do you have any sense of
so
how
there's
many
about 20,000 U.S. directors.
Or directorships, I should say.
Directorships total. And of them, of the companies in the U.S. There's, and I'm asking about large cap companies. So the large cap directors are more like 9,000 or 4,000 directors. I'm trying to remember now. But we're talking about effectively 500 to 700 companies, right? Which on average have about 9-ish to 10 directors. So you are talking about 5,000-ish directors, one of whom at every single company will flip. Last year, there were about 220 women added to boards, which was down from about 240 the prior year as part of the refreshment. So you would need that number to drop to maybe 180, 175 once something like that.
I'm wrestling with this one because what we don't know. So we have a full 6 months of the horrible second Trump administration, where we're just seeing an all-out attack on women and people of color. I wonder if, and there are suggestions throughout the news that CEOs and probably board members are secretly upset about some of the moves that the Trump is making, but they won't vocalize that.
Yeah, they won't talk about it.
So I'm wondering if now they'll decide, like, well, maybe now that we've learned all this, maybe we should stop getting rid of women on our board, stop getting rid of people of color, and go back to their ways. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm concerned. I
think you need to weigh that, though, against the fact that investors will vote on these directors, and investors include BlackRock, who has been a target of the Trump administration for being too woke.
Right. So they might, but BlackRock is not nominating the directors.
But if they vote out a female director, it also decreases the percentage of women on boards.
I actually think 28% is fair. I'm going to be...
The line makers know what they're doing.
I'm going to be... My heart is telling me something different in my brain. I'm going to be slightly optimistic here and go with the over.
Oh, wow. You're getting good odds on the over, though. I mean, plus 200 is the over.
Yeah.
And plus 200, the implied odds are actually, it's 33% to win. So 66% of the time you lose and 33% win.
I'm hoping that a good percentage of the cowardly CEOs who are kind of upset at the direction that Trump is taking our country will then tacitly okay nominating more women and people of color as a way of kind of fighting this anti-DEI trend. That's just my weird way of looking at this. So I'm going to go with the over.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next bet then. You got the over on that one. The next bet, and I might have to cut some bets here because I didn't realize this would be so...
I'm too into it.
So engaged.
I could go quick. I could go more quickly, but it's up to you.
Here's the next bet. Will any shareholders remember that ISS suggested to withhold or vote against Brookdale Senior Living Director Lee Wielansky?
No.
Now, I don't know if you remember, because in our show we covered it. ISS recommended a withhold vote on the long-tenured director at Brookdale Senior Living in a contested election. This is the same thing that happened with Disney. There was a contested election at Brookdale Senior Living. An activist nominated a number of directors and said vote against Lee Wielansky and Victoria Freed. Wielansky is the chair of the investment committee, Victoria Freed, chair of the nominating committee. Both of them had a long tenure. This is what ISS said, quote, given the tenure and positions of Wielansky and Freed, they are arguably the most culpable among incumbent directors for the current state of affairs. That's ISS's quote. In 2024, Wielansky got 99.6% votes in favor. Freed got 98.8%. In 2025, in the contested election, Wielansky got 61.5% in favor, and Freed got 63%. 2026, this year, they are going to come back up for a vote. They are still on the board. The line currently suggests that investors totally forget the names of Wielansky and Freed. Wielansky's line is set at 98% in favor, and Freed set at 97% in favor. Well,
this means that ISS will also not recommend it?
ISS will also forget.
Oh, that's what this weighs on. That's what this hinges on, no?
That's what it hinges on. And it's nearly 50-50 lines. The slight favorite here is Wielansky under. The slight favorite here is Freed over.
That's pretty high. You're 98% and 97%. Now, here's what I'm worried about is that I can see that their stock price has sort of corrected itself in 2025. It's kind of steadily going up, which means that I think ISS will stop paying attention probably.
Well, there's no activist involved either.
And no activists, right? Because I'm saying that the stock price has corrected itself. So
Right.
ISS will also forget. Everyone's going to forget. So I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go with the over. I think on both of them.
Wow, over 98%, really.
Yes, I think this is the funniest one to kind of take the over because it does show that the sort of the inactive brains of most shareholders, right? I mean,
Wow. That's unless one of them fails attendance, in which case
No.
they're definitely not. They're definitely going under.
they're not going to fail attendance.
All right, good one. All right, let's get to something. Let's get to some meaty things because we're going to get outside of some directives. We're going to get into some proposals and things like that. First of all, we have to talk Musk's pay package.
Oh, we don't have to, but go ahead.
Well, we already covered it in in one of the last Proxy Countdown we did, but we've covered it in our other podcast, Business Pants.
I mean, calling it a pay package kind of under is an understatement of what it really is. But go ahead.
Yeah, let's just be clear. The new pay package is a vote to give Elon Musk an extra $1 million if he hits all of the
Don't
goals.
say million. You have the wrong.
Or trillion,
you have the wrong-
sorry.
Yes. It's not even a billion. It's a
If
trillion.
he hits all of the goals without any extra pay at all, he is a 1.7 trillionaire. $1.7 trillion is his net worth. If he gets the pay package and hits all the goals, he gets an extra trillion. He's worth $2.7 trillion. So this is a vote not to make him a trillionaire.
Horrible.
It's to make him an extra trillionaire.
You're saying horrible things.
I mean, frankly, who gets out of bed for less than $700 billion anymore? Isn't this America? Here is the 2018 vote results on his pay package that would make him a trillionaire if he hits these goals. The 2018 vote results that got thrown out by the Delaware court, but reinstated by investors again. 73% in favor. 73% in favor. 2025, the new pay package, the line is set at 84% in favor.
Yeah, because we're in a MAGA world now.
With heavy action on the under.
Yeah.
So the favorite is the under.
The favorite is the under. Okay, interesting. You know, I'm actually really okay. I'm going to be weirdly optimistic here, and mostly as a Hail Mary prayer that Americans have not lost their way here. And I'm going to say, I'm looking at Vanguard and BlackRock, who control roughly 13% of the vote. I'm gonna bank on them making the right move and voting against this atrocious pay package. So if they both vote no, that's 13. That means we're already down to 87%. I think there'll be enough to get that enough lingering retail investors to get that under the 84. So I'm going to go under. I'm going under.
Well, just so you know, if you include BlackRock and Vanguard, there are about 9 asset managers and insiders own 64%
It's that high
of the votes required to pass it.
Well, I'm hoping some of them are good Christians, and they'll know that this isn't they'll listen to their Pope, and they'll say this is abhorrent. That despite the fact that we think that this man Elon is worth a lot of money, this is just a line too far. And I'm hoping that they'll say no. So I'm going to go under. I'm going under.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Set your own line.
Oh.
Where do you think the vote lands?
It was 73% in 2018, but now we're in this aggressive MAGA bro snowflake victimhood where we think that if anyone says no to them, that they call
they're a
get
victim.
mad.
Yeah, it's been
They're
persecution.
But and again, we're people like Jeffrey Sonnenfeld are telling us that big CEOs are secretly upset at Trump, so maybe there's some groundswell going the other direction now. I'm going to put it at 73%. I'm going to go right back to 73%.
So you still think it passes?
Oh, definitely, of course.
So it's definitely a pass. It's just under the 84 line. 73
unfortunately,
is right.
yeah.
Interesting. That's an interesting bet.
unfortunately.
All right, you got legs for a couple more.
It's up to you. You're managing this show now.
Let's do over under highest number of shareholder proposals.
Oh God.
All right, just so I'm just gonna give you a couple of lines here because the lines are out for a number of big companies.
Yeah.
In 2025, Alphabet clocked in with the highest number of shareholder proposals. They had 13 proposals in 2025.
Good for them.
Meta had 9, Amazon had 8, Walmart and Berkshire Hathaway had 7 each, and that was your rounding out your top 5. This year, the line for Alphabet is actually dropped from 13 to 8.
No, over.
Oh, you're hard over. All right, let's go fast. Let's do a speed round. Meta was 9. It's set at 5. Over. Shareholder proposals.
Yep.
All right. Well, the
tech. I think we see a lot of these tech companies.
But remember, now you have SEC guidance changed.
That's true. But now that the anti-woke are involved, the anti-ESG crowd, they have a lot of stupid proposals they like to throw out there.
Amazon was 8 last year, now 9. It went
under.
You're under on Amazon. Interesting.
I think people they're like slowly forgetting about Amazon. Amazon's almost becoming like Microsoft. It's like the old-fashioned bully that
Walmart
nobody talks about. Yeah,
4 down from 7.
Oh, Walmart.
Nobody talks about Walmart anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Walmart used to be like a boogeyman for both the left and the right.
Because Target is the big. That's a good one.
Target's not even on the board.
I feel like you hit it right with 4, but I'll go over because I think maybe it'll be 5.
Yeah, that's where the action is. The action's on the over. Here's a wild card for you. Disney.
Now we're talking. I want to talk about Disney and Exxon. Yeah, Disney.
Disney currently set at 9.
Wow. Do you have any idea what it was last year?
Disney last year. I can look it up while you think about it. I don't have that. Number in front of me.
I don't think we usually see so many media companies, but this is a very special media company because now the left and the right seem to hate it.
And there's a lot of time. Another factor here that's not built into the line that's hard to see is the amount of time you have to actually file a proposal. Right? You have to file them.
And there's going to be so much anti-woke play here now because they're so pissed that Kimmel is still around. Of course, things could change.
I'm not going to get to it fast enough. I can't find the file.
Yeah, last year Disney had. I have to know if I'm going to place a bet on this. I have to know the information. Last year, Disney had only 3 proposals. So I got to go under 9. I mean, that just seems absurd. But I like where you're going there. It's definitely going to be way over 3. I know that.
All right, so you're going with the under.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying.
I mean, the under is it is a underdog.
What about Exxon? Do you have Exxon on this list?
I do have Exxon on this list.
Let's do Exxon.
The over under is 1.
Oh, see, they're teasing me.
Right.
I was hoping it'd be higher than that because I know I would win that bet.
It'd go under. That's a perfect line.
This is like the Patriots. Like betting on the Patriots used to be difficult this way.
In fact, the heavy action is on the under. They're predicting the second year in a row for 0 shareholder proposals.
Well, the reason why I wanted to vote on Exxon because I am 95% sure it's going to be 0. And so I was hoping that you would set the line like pretty high, so I knew I'd be under But I gotta go 0. I'm putting all my money on 0. It has to be 0.
Wow, with the heavy action, you're staying with the favorite.
I think Darren Woods would be ashamed if he let one of the leftist Antifa shareholders put a disgusting capitalist breaking share proposal up at his beloved company. I think he'd be ashamed.
Well, he
sues his shareholders, Matt.
Well, that's the interesting question here. In 2024, on the 2024 proxy, Chevron, who didn't sue their shareholders, got 4 proposals. And the line for Chevron this year is also 4.
Yeah, I'm going under on that one.
Under on Chevron. All right.
I think this is because I think we're anyone headquartered in Texas, anyone in oil in general, this is the year for them to exclude everyone. Because it's just, again, they have been making this case now for years that shareholder proposals, shareholders themselves are ruining capitalism. So I think they're going to do everything they can to exclude these proposals.
Well, but I'm also built into the line here is the idea that some proposals will get excluded, but the anti-woke ones may actually have a better chance of getting through now, right?
Maybe.
We know that 40% of the shareholder proposals last year were anti-woke related.
I think they hate those too because I think Darren Woods is shrewd enough to understand that an anti-woke proposal is still ESG. It's all ESG.
Well, final vote on this section. Who's your vote for the most shareholder proposals in this coming season?
My instinct tells me Meta.
Really, Meta, you're getting plus 450 for the most.
I'm going Meta.
The favorite right now is actually Disney and Amazon.
It will be a tech company. If only it could be OpenAI, but they don't trade. Meta.
See, Meta's the cutest.
How many does Tesla have this year? They have quite a few.
They have a few, yeah. They have a few, but
that while you're talking.
They have a few, but really, like Tesla's vote's going to come before the season really starts. So they're kind of like it's like preseason almost for them.
But it's a good barometer. They have 8. I think Zuck is still that person that the left and right like to hate. So
interesting. That's a double down. You're betting the over on Meta, and really the better bet then is to bet them for the most because you're getting plus 450 on the most.
I think because I think Alphabet they got out of their antitrust suit. The DOJ has kind of forgotten about them. I think people might forget about Alphabet a bit. I think Meta. I think it's gonna be Meta.
Well, let's move on to winningest proponents.
Okay.
Last year, the average vote getting by proponent was as follows. Activist investors.
Of course.
This is they got 23% on average.
Because we love billionaires.
But I'm talking about activist shareholder proposals, not director votes, just shareholder proposals that activists put up. So
like
it
what?
would be an activist like in order to, for Ancora with Norfolk Southern, in order to do something, they had to change the bylaws. So it would be things like that. Anti-woke investors, the average vote getting last year was 2.2%.
That seems high for them, but you know what, they slipped in a few that seemed like normal people.
Right. What we noticed last year was the anti-woke proponents typically are a handful of Boyer Research, National Legal Policy Center, a couple of these groups. They were slipping in proposals about give us a report on AI and the risk to children, right?
They had really easy things like don't stab anyone was like they had really.
And then
easy
they would
ones.
get 10% of the vote or 7% of the vote, and it brings up their overall average. So there's some skew there. Asset owner / pension funds. This is like the NICERS puts in the occasional proposal. Sure. They got 11.9% on average. The woke proponents, the ESG proponents, as you sows, they got average 10%.
Right.
Governance proponents, 29%
Shevden,
on average.
McRitchie,
That's McRitchie. It's Shevden. It's Kenneth Steiner. They actually do really, really well with investors. And the religious got 10.3%.
So what are you asking
on
me
average.
here? What are you asking me?
Who you got for the averages this year?
Okay.
Activists, the line is set at 29%.
Oh wow.
Over or under?
I'll go under.
I think that's a smart bet. I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of activists asking for bylaw changes this year. Anti-woke, 3%.
Unfortunately,
it's a growth.
I hate to say this, but I think these are going to go steadily up every year. Now that we have this weird post-Kirk, moment, I think there's going to be a lot more proposals. They're going to be angry at everyone. They're going to blame any corporation they can for killing their hateful man. I think they're going to somehow convince more retail investors to vote. I just think it's going to go up. I just think it's going to go over.
Over 3%. That's a lot of growth. 2.2 to 3, I thought was a jump.
Yeah.
Asset owners, pension funds, 9%
over. I don't see why that would decrease.
The woke investors drops down to 7%.
Really?
Yes. The line basically suggesting here we're going to see a massive drop in interest.
I don't agree with that. Over.
Oh, you're the over. Well, the action's on the over, so you're with the action. Governance is set at 40%
Yeah, this
average.
this is like the way like rich people get into heaven, right? They vote yes on governance proposals, but nothing else, and that makes them feel like they're doing something good. Like they can pretend
Wow,
like.
that's very philosophical.
But 40 is a lot. That's too far. You're going too far. That's crazy.
You're going with the under.
Under. Yeah, because we just had a couple of. We had one this week. I don't remember which company. It was from Chevedden or McRitchie. One of the governance people, and they only got 13%. So I actually think that I actually would have
Canary
said
in the coal mine.
I actually think that might be under 29% this year.
Wow!
So I'm actually putting a lot of money under there. What else do you have?
Religious set at 10% again.
I think it'll go up. Oh, over.
Yo, you're up on
Pope's
them.
having
You're
a
up on the
moment.
nuns.
Yeah, the Pope. We got an American Pope. Maybe we'll listen to this Pope.
We mentioned John Chevedden. The next bet is Chevedden total shareholder proposals. Last year was 27.
He's pissed.
The line is set at 32.
Over.
You're going over with the number of proposals that get accepted.
All the anti-MAGA crowd is they're just gonna they just want to go they want to go hog wild. They just anywhere they can they want to do stuff.
Wow. So, but that he has to get it through the SEC, right? Like the action's actually on the under.
But Chevedden gets
action on the under.
Chevedden's okay because I think the SEC and I think the anti-proposal people, they're too dumb to kind of understand what he's doing, and they just think it's nothing, and they let him go. They let him up there.
Okay, here's your last bet.
Go ahead.
Number of non-governance proponent proposals that will win.
Oh.
Defined as greater than 50% of the votes in favor.
And we had no winners last year.
2025, 0 wins for non-governance proposals. The line is set at 1 with heavy action on the heavy favorite is the under.
Yeah, you got to think it's going to be 0 again.
The implied odds here are 97% under. They're going to get 0. 97% chance of 0.
Just because the action's on the under, over. So I have to have 2? I have to get 2 votes?
You have to get 2.
One's a push, though. I get my money back?
One's a push. You get your money back.
I'm going to go over. I'm going over. I actually think the answer is 1. So
That's right. It's a perfect line.
I'll take a risk.
That's a perfect line. So I want to just let you in. That's the end of the bets. I want to let you some bets that weren't on the board.
Yeah.
That included the male CEO to female CEO tenure ratio. It's a weird wonky one, but
that's a crazy one.
One of the things that came out just recently over the summer was that CEO tenure for males is actually in 2023 was 2 years for every 1 year of female CEO tenure. Okay. So men get twice as long as women. That dropped in 2024 to 1.7 to 1.
Yeah, it's probably because women often take over companies that are a mess, and then 18 months later, they're like, "Wait, you haven't cleaned up our mess yet? Get out of here! You failed."
That's right. Then they vote them out. So the tenure ratio was interesting to me. There was CEO resignations or firings. They've been actually up. 2023 was 52, 2024 was 58, but I expect a big drop. I actually think CEOs are going to stick around because this is the best time to make money. You're never going to get another opportunity like this to pay yourself a special golden package.
That's right. We're seeing so many stupid special retention awards, and we're going through a job hugging phase where people are not leaving their jobs. You're right. I agree with you.
I think it's going to be I think they're going to stick around more. I saw a number of times ISS and Glass Lewis would change their vote recommendations because of an activist.
That's like every day, yeah.
That seems like 100% of them.
Yes.
But there's no line on that right now. And then there was a question: who's the next Jim McRitchie or John Chevedden?
Stop. Yeah.
Because
do they have Nepo babies? Is there a David Ellison McRitchie? Is there is there a kid McRitchie or kid Chevedden?
That's all I got for what I saw on the board. Those are the big bets.
Jim Jr., John the Third.
Honestly, I thought this was a fun exercise.
I enjoyed that.
I feel like we should do this again.
I hope you track these, though. I want to see if I'm a winner.
Track your bets. Maybe you win some money.
And call DraftKings because they need this because this stuff actually matters. Do I want to vote on like a college football game in Utah? No. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? You're making my brain rot. Let's vote on some important stuff.
This is what the futures market, the prediction markets do.
Come on, let's do it. That's the Proxy Countdown for the week of September 22nd, 2025. We're on a bi-weekly schedule here. Join us in 2 weeks when we jump back into the alternative democracy pool, forever on the lookout for shareholder shenanigans, dopey directors, scandalous CEO pay ratios, and wayward band-aids.